They fly in the darkness of the night, swoop down on unsuspecting victims, attack them, and drink their blood. You might think that this is about some sort of exotic bat. Even though such winged creatures exist, it's not them who attack these poor hoofed animals. They are being attacked by vampire parrots. Pretty surprising, isn't it? These animals don't expect such trickery from the seemingly adorable birds too. So they really don't sense the threat and don't flee when they see these birds approaching in the twilight. And all of this takes place in New Zealand, where there are no large predators that could pose a danger to sheep herds. The livestock feel safe and freely roam the expanses even at night. Unfortunately, these unsuspecting sheep have tangled with no ordinary parrots that you can teach to talk. Instead, they're dealing with true monsters. The vampire parrots lack fangs. They simply land on their victims' backs and puncture them with their beaks. The key parrots are omnivores, feeding on larvae, insects, nectar, and fruits. However, these birds live in the high-altitude regions of New Zealand, where it is definitely quite cold, and there's really not that much nutrient-rich food. Due to this, the parrots suffer from a lack of vitamins. It seems that to supplement the deficiency of certain vital nutrients, they have now diversified their menu with animal blood. Usually, sheep are the victims of these vampire parrot raids. For a long time, this bloodthirsty behavior of Kia parrots remained a mystery. Just a few years ago, researchers discovered that some individuals behave like vampires, which was honestly quite shocking for people. After all, key parrots have an excellent reputation. They are among the most intelligent birds globally. Key birds are curious, active, and quite friendly towards humans, and often kept as pets. Moreover, these birds are masters of flight and apparently engage in acrobatic maneuvers just for the fun of it. Yet they are also capable of attacking sheep and other helpless animals to drink their blood. The wound from a beak strike is not particularly precise and can be painful. Still, the parrot doesn't care about the victim's discomfort. It simply drinks the blood flowing from the damaged tissues and then takes off. After which the parrot remains on the sheep's back, even if it attempts to escape. Sort of reminds me of a somewhat eerie rodeo scene, doesn't it? Moreover, the bird can sit on its prey in this manner for quite a while. Such an attack doesn't lead to any fatal consequences. While the wound might look brutal, it doesn't damage any vital organs and isn't particularly deep. Nevertheless, the sight of a bird settling on an animal in twilight and acting like a vampire is impressive and frightening, wouldn't you say? Of course, such a parrot doesn't attack humans. They're not the right weight class for them. Moreover, if a key parrot becomes a pet, it likely won't suffer from vitamin deficiency, so the need for blood kind of disappears. But who knows? Perhaps it's worth looking at a pet bird a bit differently now. It's hard to say why the antelope nudges the newborn into the water. Is it trying to teach it to swim? Attempting to wash it? Wishing to get rid of an extra mouth to feed? In any case, this behavior clearly doesn't sit well with this bird right here. The waterfront is its territory. This marabou is a member of the stork family, feeding on frogs, insects, reptiles, and carrion. Hoofed animals don't seem to realize that. To them, the massive stork is just a quiet neighbor leisurely searching for frogs near the water's edge. Well, the gazelles clearly underestimated the bird's bloodthirstiness, and allowing the little one to stay close to it was a mistake. The scavenging stork eyes the little one as if it's an obstacle hindering its walk along the shore, or as potential food. The gazelle fawn is alive, but for the stork, it's a temporary inconvenience. Just watch how calmly the bird grabs the youngster by the legs and nearly drowns it. Fortunately, this story ended well. The stork couldn't be bothered to finish off the fawn, allowing it to escape without serious injuries. Still, that fawn won't ever approach this bird without fear. Here's the funniest gang you've ever seen. Turkeys formed a true gangster group and decided to take over this territory. Just to look at how confidently they're strutting around. It seems like they're about to walk into a local cafe with an offer you can't refuse. Do you need protection? They sure think you do. This cat clearly misunderstood whom it was dealing with. It thought that it could easily disperse the group of birds, but received such resistance that it had to run away. Before, the cat could have chased the turkeys, and now the tables have turned. Ducks look quite cute. I mean, they could be cute, right? Just look at this example of interspecies friendship. Isn't it charming? It might seem like the birds are practically in captivity by the cat, which treats them like toys, sparing them its claws and sharp beak only on a whim. These ducks lack both claws and a sharp beak, so they're defenseless. Well, these cats also thought that way and regretted it when the duck showed them who's the boss. They messed with the wrong bird. The duck turned out to be aggressive and very assertive. It attacked with its beak, which can't cause any injuries or serious harm to the cats, but really, when the duck nips, it really hurts. The cats try to fend it off, but the bird attacks with such force that it corners them and pins them up against the wall. It seems like it ignores all the claw strikes to its head. The cats are shocked. They didn't expect this kind of aggression, but bird continues its assault. It really wants to teach the cat a lesson they will remember for a long time. Don't mess with ducks. Owls are formidable predators that compete with eagles for the title of the best hunter among all birds. They indeed have several advantages. Besides sharp, curved talons and a powerful beak, owls have excellent night vision and hearing, can fly almost silently, and can handle prey larger than themselves. But here, the owl clearly underestimated its opponent. Crows, although not considered the most dangerous birds, are known for their resourcefulness and bravery. They gradually outcompete owls and even dominate them. The owl just wanted to rest, but crows show her that this isn't her place. Now, this is their territory. Although the black aggressors aren't trying to escalate the conflict fatally, they are determined to drive the owl away. They don't like such neighbor and achieve success. The owl simply didn't know who she was dealing with. The strong beak, capable of crushing small bones, can seriously harm the owl. Besides, crows have a very firm grip and can improvise on the fly to defeat a formidable enemy with minimal risk. Moreover, while owls are solitary, crows often form large groups. This way, they can overcome a predatory bird without much risk. And if the attack happens during the day, the crow's chances rise even higher. Underestimating them is not advisable. They might eventually oust the owl from their habitual habitat. Whose side are you on in this confrontation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We are interested to know your opinion. It is hard to find a more audacious bird than a seagull. They've turned their impudence into a true weapon. Thanks to this, they can find food almost anywhere. Seagulls have a reputation as seabirds, but they venture quite far from the shore. There, they easily find themselves a meal. These pigeons think that the seagull before them is just another beggar, like themselves, just a bit larger. They're not afraid of this bird, as it doesn't look like a predator. No long, sharp talons and beak like a hawk. But they should have seen the threat in the eyes of that scoundrel. This seagull leisurely walks past the pigeons, not in search of food people toss. The seagull scopes out a pigeon it finds more appetizing. It attacks when it spots one. The other pigeons are in shock. They didn't expect this turn of events. But if a seagull clamps onto its target with its beak, it's unlikely to let go. Despite its size and strength advantage, it easily dispatches the pigeon in a matter of minutes. And this isn't just one bird's antics. It's typical behavior for the entire species. If a seagull sees a chance to deal with any animal, it will surely attack. It's fortunate that we are so much larger than these feathered bandits, isn't it? Moreover, the seagull deals with its prey as efficiently as possible. If there's water nearby, the bird will drown the opponent, especially if it can't swim. If there's no water, it'll pick, lift, and strike the prey against the ground with its beak. The seagull might attack a sparrow, considering it a mere sandwich. Or it might dare to assault a larger adversary. Even land animals can't feel safe here. Here, the seagull swallowed a squirrel. The fluffy rodent clearly didn't expect an attack from this bird, and that was a big mistake. Attempts to hide don't always yield results. Here, the seagull fetched a rabbit directly from its burrow. The bird handled a quite large animal and swallowed it whole. But for every troublemaker, there is a stronger fighter. The audacity of the seagull infuriated this pelican. While the pelican's bill is ideally suited for catching fish, the seagull managed to find its way in there too. It clearly didn't comprehend who it was dealing with. The pelican dealt with it in a matter of seconds. Even crows can teach a lesson to seagulls. See how 6 crows chase a single seagull. The black-winged birds understood that teamwork and the ability to coordinate help when faced with a competitor, surpassing them in audacity and side. The seagull was simply bewildered. It was attacked from all sides and forced to leave its familiar coastline, which it used to consider its territory. It clearly didn't grasp that the rules had changed. And now, other feathered bandits inhabit the area. It definitely will not mess with crows anymore. So what instance of unexpected birds' bravery impressed you today the most? Share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be among the first to learn about the most amazing, amusing, and epic moments from the world of wildlife. Although sea lions spend most of their lives in the water, they can get out on land. This last thought that it would be able to escape from killer whales that are not able to leave the water. Big mistake. Orcas are ready to risk themselves for the sake of such appetizing seals. They timed the moment to break ashore together with the wave, grab the pinniped, and return back as soon as possible. Now we will show other amazing cases from the life of marine predators. It seems as if killer whales know that they are being filmed and deliberately demonstrate their incredible strength. Here, a predator overtakes a sea lion, which it can deal with the help of its jaws. But instead, the killer whale throws the victim out of the water with a crushing blow of its tail. The sea lion flies to the height of a 3rd-story building. The birds are shocked. They fly over the hunting ground in search of profit, but they did not expect that the underwater monster sent its victim to visit them. After such a monstrous blow, there are hardly many whole bones left in the body of a sea lion. But falling on the surface of the water from such a height is like falling on concrete. This completely finishes off the sea lion and turns it into a helpless victim. This means that it can only be picked up with the jaws of this orca. The brutal and at the same time impressive manner of hunting is incredibly effective. If the agile sea lion still has chances to dodge the grip of the killer whale's fangs, then the victim will not be able to survive such a blow. But the great strength is not the main weapon of killer whales. Their intelligence is much more important. These black and white underwater predators are close relatives of dolphins, famous for their memory and mental abilities. Killer whales are in no way inferior to their distant relatives. Excellent memory and communication skills are combined with the ability of these predators to plan complex hunting tactics. And killer whales look at dolphins like a burger. Yes, family ties do not prevent them from hunting smaller animals at all. Catching a dolphin is a difficult task. They can get away from most large enemies due to maneuverability. But this dolphin does not know who he's messing with. A tense confrontation, wouldn't you agree? Thanks to the efforts of these killer whales, they succeed in what most sharks do not. Some beaters chase prey from behind, Others do not allow a group of fish to disperse over a large area. Finally, our hunter squeezes its jaws, and the dolphin is no longer able to get out. He will be dealt with the powerful blows of the tail, which the killer whales can also throw the dolphin out of the water with. Teeth will also be used. The killer whales use a similar tactic to restrain a whole school of fish. Without allowing them to scatter in different directions, each killer whale can snatch not one, but several fish at once in one throw. Another advantage of killer whales is courage. If a sea lion or seal is on land, on the shore, but close enough to the water's edge, this black and white predator can risk its life for a hearty lunch. Well, and for the sake of adventure, of course. It seems that killer whales just love thrills. How else can you explain the many episodes when they hunt these sea lions on the shore? A killer whale can jump ashore, catch a seal, and just go back. It looks epic, and the element of surprise helps to catch the seals by surprise, who do not have time to react and retreat far enough back. But if the predator makes even the slightest mistake and jumps out too far, it will get stuck. Sometimes the most desperate killer whales jump out so far that only a tidal wave can help them get back into the water. And this is completely unpredictable. In fact, the killer whale is playing roulette and betting his life. If it stays on land, then contrary to popular belief, its own weight will not suffocate her. This is only the problem of much larger whales. But the thermoregulation of killer whales is adapted to living in cold water. If the animal remains on land, then overheating in a few hours will be fatal for it. That's why during the rescue of killer whales, conservationists pour water on them. The animal breathes air, but it needs water to cool down while people drag it back into the water. To be honest, water is an unpredictable element. Now this bird feels like a hunter, right? For whom the only concern is catching prey. Suddenly, a huge shark appears from the depths, as if out of nowhere, really, and catches up with the bird with one throw. The shark caught the albatross in less than a second, and the bird didn't have the chance to take off when the predator was so close. The shark is an incredibly successful marine predator. This species has existed for tens of millions of years, practically unchanged. And that's because perfection cannot be improved. Just look at the speed with which the shark overtakes its prey here. Thanks to its incredibly strong tail fin, this fish is able to overcome a huge distance in just a couple of movements. The strength of the shark can be judged by the fact that during the hunt, it is able to jump out of the water to such a height almost equal to the length of its own body. It's kind of hard to believe, but it allows sharks to hunt birds. This feathered one right here is shocked when a monster suddenly appears out of the water, and it catches it right on the fly. A shark's battering ram can stun anyone. But the main trump card of this predator is its jaws. There are about 300 triangular sharp teeth in a shark's mouth. How do they fit in there? It's simple, in several rows. At the same time, the jaws have great strength, so it is almost impossible to break out of a grip like this. Shark teeth also have jagged edges, so they act like miniature saws. And although there are few rivals for these fish, they prefer to hunt wounded animals more, chase injured ones, and weak individuals. Just imagine, some marine inhabitant survived a terrible danger, beat a predator in a fight, managed to break away, only for a shark to smell its blood and swim in for a second round. A great white shark can just bite an adult seal. And even smaller species are able to hunt most sea lions and seals in fish of the world ocean. Pretty scary, isn't it? Sharks, for all of their advantages, have one drawback. They're not very social. Dolphins are another matter. They have a well-developed signal exchange system, thanks to which dolphins coordinate their actions in real time. And they are unexpectedly cruel. It may come as a surprise to you, but dolphins often use violence against their own kind. They attack young ones, take away food, but they protect their family members desperately. So attacking a young dolphin is the stupidest idea a shark could come up with. It doesn't even understand who it's messing with, and now it's going to pay for its cruelty. The shark's jaws didn't even have time to touch the opponent when the anger of the family falls on the brainless fish, like the ninth wave on a wooden raft. The shark simply has no chance. The smart dolphins, if they lag behind the enemy in terms of physical strength, then it's only a little bit. They also are superior in maneuverability and speed. However, the main thing is that dolphins know the weaknesses of their enemy. They deliver powerful and painful blows to the gills, which for a shark is like a hammer blow to the throat. At least it stuns and causes terrible pain. And then the dolphins turn the opponent over. An interesting anatomical fact. If a shark is turned upside down, it will almost paralyze it, and it will not be able to return to its normal position on its own. It's not really clear how dolphins know about this. Maybe they catch young sharks and conduct experiments on them? We honestly wouldn't be surprised. But knowing this feature makes killer whales extremely dangerous against sharks. Just now, this fish thought that she was the Lord and the storm of the seas. And now she is already prey for a pack of angry enemies who beat and paralyze her in a couple of minutes, and then eat her. Do not mess with dolphins if you are a solitary animal. And even more so, it is not worth messing with their young. The only marine predator that is higher up than dolphins in the food chain is killer whales. Interestingly enough, although both dolphins and killer whales show cruelty towards enemies, it is killer whales that are more loyal both to their own kind and to people. There are cases when wild dolphins attacked people to drown them. So meeting a dolphin in the wild is honestly like playing the lottery. If you get lucky, it'll help and even save you from the sharks. Not lucky, it will attack you. So beware of these animals in the water. But wild killer whales never do this. They swim up to people to study them, get to know them, and even swim with them and play together. But there's no aggression. Moreover, there are impressive cases when killer whales and huge whales have saved people from sharks, pushing aside predators, or attacking them to protect strangers. This just goes to show that not all heroes wear capes, and these giants often just swam up to communicate, keeping maximum accuracy. They slowed down so as not to accidentally hit the boat, surfboard, or the person themselves. Would you ever like to meet such a powerful, ruthless, but loyal to man marine predator? Let us know in the comments. Or let us know if you already have a story about how you encountered killer whales. If a killer whale seems like an underwater giant to you, then how do you like these big bad boys? The weight of a killer whale can reach 4 tons, the same as a minibus. But the weight of a humpback whale is 30 tons. This is practically a living island, which sometimes goes to a huge depth, and when it rises to take a breath of atmospheric air, causes waves on which a surfer could ride. The camera captures an epic scene of the confrontation of a whole flock of killer whales with such humpback whales. It's almost like hunting a pack of wolves for a moose, with the only difference that these animals are 10 times larger. And also, these aquatic mammals have more developed communication, so they use more complex tactics. Killer whales can spend hours surrounding a family of humpback whales to separate the cub from the mother and other members of the group. Regular aggressive attacks are inflicted by predators from different sides to confuse the enemy. One blow from the powerful tail of a humpback whale is enough to crush the killer whale and cause fatal damage to it. Therefore, these intelligent carnivores constantly change the angles of attack, act aggressively, and at the same time, so smoothly, as if they had been rehearsing and practicing their techniques for hours. But to finish off the victim of this size, killer whales do not use their jaws. Even their bites could not cause fatal damage to a humpback whale or a different whale. Instead, killer whales drown the victim. They know that whales also breathe air. Therefore, killer whales block the attempts of the whale to surface for a life-saving breath. To do this, predators use ramming blows, try to hold the victim with their teeth, beat with their tails, and since killer whales themselves need air, the predators constantly are going after each other. The blue whale is the largest creature on Earth. And we're not only discussing sea animals here, but all animals in the world. And not just now, but for the entire history of man. No dinosaur has ever reached such impressive dimensions. A mass of 150 tons, with a body length of more than 100 feet 30 meters, is like the weight of a spacious building. A blue whale could swallow a van, and with a blow of its tail, it is able to cause a wave that could hide a small island underneath water. But killer whales attack even such giants. It's incredibly dangerous, but if a blue whale is alone, then a dozen aggressive predators like this could attack it for hours, inflict painful bites, and chase it for miles. And so who would you root for in this situation? A huge giant, or clever, cruel, but capable of effective mutual assistance of predators? Let us know in the comments. We're interested to know your opinion. By the way, it's really funny that of all land animals in the world, the closest relatives of whales and dolphins are cows. And other hoofed mammals, of course. But that's pretty unexpected, isn't it? Their common ancestors went into the water millions of years ago. Then, the ancestors of the hoofed animals were not such avid vegetarians. Among them were omnivorous animals and even predators. So killer whales have retained their love for a meat diet, becoming the most successful predators of the world's oceans.